Well, let's start the global stories now from what's going on in the United Kingdom, and we have our London bureau chief, Olayinka Juliana, joining us this morning. Well, Juliana, your second name came first to my mouth. Well, Juliana, we hear that most likely you guys will be paying more for water, the droughts, the extreme weather and everything that's hitting from different sides.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. Good morning, Innie. We have received information from Offshore, which is the water regulator for England and Wales, and they've come up with a potential pricing proposal, which isn't exactly new to Britain. It's already being trialled by two separate water companies in the north of the country, which basically would mean during seasonal conditions you would either pay more or pay less for your water usage. Now, as you know, Britain has been going through, some parts of Britain have been going through a drought over the past couple of months. In fact, in London in the southeast, it hasn't actually rained here for 2 months, which is almost unfathomable. But that's becoming the new norm now, Innie. So water companies are trying to say, look, if there is already hose pipes in bad, so basically you can't water your gardens, then perhaps we should look a little more intimately and look at water usage within the home. So if during the peak of summer you're using more water than your neighbour, you should pay more. If you're on holiday for a couple of weeks and you're using less water, you should pay less. And I think the figures are not that steep. We're looking at potentially £18 a year more if you are one of those customers. But it is quite interesting, and it's part of an ongoing debate in this country about how we handle severe weather, which is likely to become more prominent in the future.
Yeah, and I don't think that's letting up because even close to you around in Europe, there are also complaints of droughts and all of that. Unfortunately, people have to adjust in the use of water. And then we'll talk about the £50 billion reform. That seems to be getting some knocks that the vulnerable are being left out.
Yeah, I believe, so this is Reform UK. So Reform UK, they have become quite prominent over the past couple of years, although I don't want to scare our viewers who are living in the UK, because to be honest, it has got quite scary. I'm sure you saw the reports of that Professor Jason Arday, who was hounded by the media. So there are lots of fears about far-right sentiment in the UK, and some would definitely consider Reform UK a far-right component of governance in Britain. They are not yet in power, but Robert Jenrick, who was a prominent figure in the opposing Conservative Party, now the spokesman for Reform UK's Treasury, he's put out a plan basically saying that £50 billion of welfare money in the UK could potentially be saved, and it could be saved by preventing foreign nationals who are legally living in the UK from accessing that money. So of course Nigerians fall under that category, but also quite surprisingly is the EU. So if you are a European citizen and you're living in London and perhaps something has happened to your health, or you would have been able to access some welfare, Reform UK are saying absolutely not, that should be stopped. So he's gone into a series of reasons why and how they can basically save Britain. I think it's about £21 billion a year. But again, Reform UK are not in power. Every so often we do see some of these alarmist headlines from them. But, this is a conversation that's going to be raging. One of the reasons why we've got Andy Burnham and not Sir Keir Starmer as Prime Minister anymore is because a lot of people thought that Reform UK's queries were not being resolved. So, yes.
Yeah, but Julian, I do know over there, I mean, you guys are really impatient. I mean, whether it's Keir Starmer or Andy Burnham, if you're not happy, we're going to hear your voice. And we hope you guys will give him a bit of time, to settle in before you start expressing, those very passionate expressions.
It's a good point. 11 prime ministers in a decade is absolutely ridiculous. They're already calling for the head of Andy Burnham, but alas, he's on holiday, so we'll just have to wait and see what comes out in September. But the British media is fierce, and going back to what I was saying about that Professor Jason Arday, he was hounded by the British press. The British press are notorious when it comes to getting what they want.
I guess every democracy needs that. But a bit of good news, fresh listings of homes lower, started.
Yeah, this is an interesting story from Rightmove, which is a very popular property portal here in the UK. And what they have noted for the month of August so far is that property prices in the Royal Borough of Kensington and Chelsea, the asking price has been reduced by about £100,000. So typically, if you want to live in Kensington and Chelsea, you'd have to spend about £1.6 million. I can't do the calculation in Naira, it's a lot of money. But they've noted that the asking price has come down to about £1.5 million, 1.59 million pounds. So yeah, just under £100,000. This is not just peculiar to the Royal Borough. They're also seeing price fluctuations across the country. There are several reasons for this. One of them is the season. A lot of people, of course, are still traveling. So typically, properties are not just being put on the market. But then also we do still have quite elevated interest rates. So we know that mortgage repayments are much higher. So some buyers are reluctant, which means sellers have to withdraw. And also, which is quite unpeculiar, is the fact that there are now more properties on the market. So this is more of a buyer's playground than it is a seller's playground. So depending on what side of the line you stand on, this could be seen as a good story if you're a buyer, but then of course paying over £1.5 million for a home, I'm sure you've got the extra £100,000 change.
Yeah, interesting there, Juliana, but thank you so much and enjoy the rest of your day. And still in the global space, let's see expectations for the week. Today, Monday, from China, we expect unemployment rate. And then from Canada, the core consumer price index for year on year. Tomorrow, Tuesday, from the UK, where Juliana is, unemployment rate is expected tomorrow. And in the United States, industrial production month on month. On Wednesday, UK core price index. And then Europe final core price index. That will be out on Wednesday and Thursday. Australia unemployment rate, and from the United States is unemployment claims, and we know that always leads some investor sentiment. And for Friday, Japan national core CPI year on year is expected. From the UK, public spending, public sector net borrowing, that's expected, and Europe consumer confidence, that's also expected from the week. And that's all we can take from the global space. And that's it on the program. Thank you so much for being a part of it. I'll be back at 1:30 for Business Incorporated, taking you around the world of business in 25 minutes. I'm Amy John McClain. See you then.